The opening prayer for today's class is a group of 3 stanzas from the Devi Mahatmyam, also called Chandi, also called Durga Saptashati, 3 names. This is on page 142 of Universal Prayers. At the bottom, 2 verses are there. The third verse is on page 143. You must be familiar with these 3 verses because we chant it every evening during the evening prayer, evening arati. Om Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Saranye Triambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Srishti Sthiti Vinashanam Shakti Bhute Sanatani Gunashraye Gunamaye Narayani Namostute Sharanagata Dinartha Paritrana Parayane Sarvasyarti Hare Devi Narayani Namostute Jaya Narayani Namostute Jaya Narayani Namostute Jaya Narayani Namostute. O auspicious Divine Mother, you are the source of all auspiciousness. You are the accomplisher of all cherished desires. You are the giver of refuge. You possess the eye of wisdom and the beautiful form. You, the power of divine salutations to thee. O Eternal One, you are the energy of creation, maintenance, and destruction. You are the abode of the threefold cosmic energy, and you are also the manifester of everything. O Divine Mother, salutations to thee. O Mother, you are the savior of the distressed and of the careworn who take refuge in thee. You are the remover of the misery of all. O power divine, salutations to you again and again. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. These 3 stanzas from the Durga Saptashati, Sri Ramakrishna chanted when he worshipped the Holy Mother, invoking in her the presence of the Divine Mother. Very important verses we chant every day during the evening arati in all Ramakrishna Mission centers all over the world. We were studying chapter 9, verse 12 we finished last time. The 2 verses, 11 and 12 in chapter 9, these 2 verses describe the people who cannot recognize divine presence in anything. Though all the scriptures say and sages have experienced God's presence in all and everything, there are many people who are not interested and who don't have the vision or even the desire to see God in everything. So those are described there. In a fuller description of such people will come in the 16th chapter. Chapter 16 is called Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. Daivi Sampat, divine qualities, Asuri Sampat, demoniac quality. Those are described in the 16th chapter. But this is a briefer description of people who don't have divine qualities. Asuri Sampati. Now, the opposite. Qualities of the great people, devotees, who are eager to see God in everything, in themselves and in everything. They are being described in uh, verse number 13, 14, 15, and so on. 3 verses. So let us do verse number 13. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritimashritaah bhajantyananya manaso jnatva bhutadimavyayam. Mahatmanaha means great people, devotees, great people with noble qualities, noble virtues. Mahatmanaha daivim prakritim ashritaha. Prakriti means nature. Here it means qualities. Daivi prakriti means divine qualities. Virtuous people. Daivim prakritim ashritaha, those who have divine qualities. Many people are there. Such people. Mam bhajanti, they worship me. People with noble qualities, devotees or devotion to God, who want to see God, who want to know God, they worship God. Mam bhajanti, they worship me. How do they worship me? Ananya manasaha. Second line, bhajanti ananya manasaha. 3 words are combined. Second line, bhajanti ananya manaso, has to be broken down. Bhajanti ananya manasaha. Bhajanti means they worship me. Worship me in different ways. Not only ritualistic worship, singing God's names and glories, chanting God's name, serving devotees, like that. Ananya manasa, with their mind not being disturbed by other thoughts. Anya means different. Ananya means not different. Manas means mind. Mind occupied with divine thoughts, thoughts of God, almost all the time. Mind occupied with worldly thoughts to the extent necessary for worldly life. You have to have a job, you have to maintain the house and property and children, family. Those things occupy some, they require some attention. You have to pay attention to them because that's also service of God. If you clean our own house, then is it not service of God? He is present in every house. He is present in our hearts. He is present in the people who live in this house. So we are serving him. So every activity should be seen as service of God. That's the right way to perform action. Every activity should be performed as if it is service of God, as if it is worship. That will come again. Ananya manasa, without being distracted by worldly thoughts, bhajanti, they worship me. Whom are they, whom are they worshipping? Mam, me, the Lord is speaking. Bhutadim avyayam jnatva. Jnatva means knowing. Knowing me, Mam means me, Bhagwan. God is speaking. Bhutadim. Adi means beginning. Beginning or source. Bhuta means all the beings. Anything that exists or has existed or will come into existence in the future. Everything called a being. Bhuta means a being. Any kind of being. Living, non-living, and moving, unmoving, people, animals, plants, nature, stars, everything. All are beings. Bhutadim. The Lord is the source of all the being. Everything comes from him. That we have seen before. Everything, the whole universe and all the beings, they come from the Lord. He is the source. They are sustained by him, maintained by him, and they go and merge into him at the end of their cycle of existence. Jnatva, knowing me to be the source of everything, avyaya means imperishable. Everything is vyaya, perishable. Vyaya means expenditure. Everything that you are familiar with, whole of nature and our own bodies and mind, they're all perishable. Sooner or later, they will degenerate and go out of existence. 6 changes, everything goes through, that we have seen before. So everything is perishable. The only thing that is not perishable, avyaya, the Lord himself. He has no beginning, he has no end, he has no middle, no, he is infinite, eternal, infinite. That one sloka in second chapter, sloka number 20, please remember, that describes the Lord very precisely and completely. 220. Yatayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Sharire hanyamane, when all the bodies, sharira means body. All bodies. Sharire hanyamane, when all the bodies perish, Atmana hanyate, he remains constant, imperishable, avyaya, eternal. So, knowing the Lord to be the source of all the beings, bhutadim avyayam, eternal, imperishable being, Mahatmanaha, the great people, devotees who have devotion, they worship me, Mam Bhajanti, without being distracted by worldly thoughts, Ananya Manasaha. Without the mind going here and there in different directions, they worship me. How do they worship me? All activities are done as worship. Every word I speak is worship of God. Every step I take is worship of God. That you have seen before, it will come again. Now, Daivim Prakritim Ashritaha, the first line. Ashrita means taking refuge in or following, pursuing Daivi Prakriti, divine quality. What are divine qualities? They will come with the full description in chapter 16. Here Shankara says briefly, Daivi Prakriti. What are divine qualities that devotees should have? We all should have. Shama, Dama, Daya, Shraddha, Adi Lakshanani. Shama means controlling the mind. The mind has a tendency to go in every direction. If it is left to itself, we have to constantly bring it back to the thought of God. Wherever it goes, from there we have to bring it back and make it dwell on the divine presence within us and everywhere. We studied that, how to do that one in the 6th chapter. How to bring the mind back from all digressions, distractions. Chapter 6, verse 26. Please remember that one. 6:26. There Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, how to practice concentration, how to bring the mind back from all the distractions and make it dwell on the self within. Chapter 6, verse 26. Yato yato nischarati manaha chanchalam asthiram tatastato niyam yetad atmanyeva vasham nayet. Wherever the mind goes, in whatever direction the mind goes, you are doing ordinary work, when you are cooking or cleaning, the mind goes to some totally unrelated topic, distracting, in making it difficult to focus attention on the work we are doing. So sometimes we make mistakes because we are thinking something else, not what we are working on. So when you are cooking, if you are not paying attention, thinking something else, then we forget whether we put salt or not. If you have put salt, you forget and then put salt again, thinking we have not put too much salt. Or we may not put salt again, thinking we already put. Why this happens? Because we are thinking of something else, not the work we are doing. So that should not be allowed to happen. Daivim Prakriti Ashrita. Shama, first quality is to control the mind and make the mind concentrate on whatever we are doing at the moment. Dhamma, these are all Daivi Prakritis. Dhamma means controlling this, all the 10 sense organs. 10 sense organs, eye wants to go somewhere, see something else, ear wants to hear something else, hand wants to do something else, feet want to take us someplace else. You're all pulling us in 10 different directions. The 10 sense organs, we have to control all of them and make them function in harmony, in concert. Samadama, daya means compassion. Compassion, seeing the presence of God in all and everything. Compassion towards animals, plants, and even towards inanimate objects. Compassion means treating everything with kindness, gentleness. Prakritim, daya, samadama, daya, shraddha. Shraddha means earnestness. Shraddha means faith, generally translated as faith. But here Shraddha means whatever work we are doing, you have to do it earnestly, wholeheartedly, not half-heartedly, joyfully and thankfully. As you have seen before, every work that we have to do is an opportunity to worship God. Every activity we do is an opportunity to worship God, to remain in contact with God, to serve God. If you think that way, all work becomes enjoyable. There is no drudgery. There is no unwillingness to work joyfully. Thank you for letting me do this service to you, oh Lord. Like that, with gratitude, we have to work. Because as we have seen before, work is an opportunity to serve God. Work is a special gift. The ability to do work and the opportunity to do work, both are special gifts. As long as we have them, we don't think of them. We just take them for granted. We complain, oh, I have to do so much work. But when one of them is taken away, either we are unable to do work or we have no work to do. In either case, we become miserable. Generally, both are there. We have opportunity to do work and we have work to do. So we don't think about how precious these two things are. So gratefully, with gratitude, you have to work. Samadama, daya, shraddha, earnestness. These are all Daivi Prakriti. See Daivi Prakriti in the first line. Mahatmanastumam partha Daivim Prakritim Asita. Practicing all these virtues. Control of mind, control of sense organs, practicing compassion and working with earnestness and devotion and joy. That is how we have to lead our life, perform all our work. So then it paves the way. If you work like this, it paves the way for God realization. God will be imminent. We can experience divine presence in all and everything. That will come in the next few verses. So that is verse number 13. Now we go to verse number 14. Same description of devotees. And you have to practice all these things. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Description of devotees. Satatam mam kirtayantaha. Satatam means continuously, not intermittently, without interruption, incessantly, mam kirtayantaha, glorifying me. Always you should think of the infinite glories of God. How glorious everything is, because everything is, in everything He is present, making everything glorious. That we study in the next chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, how to see God in everything. A lot of examples. Kirtayantaha, satatam kirtayantaha mam, always chanting the name and glories of God. Yatantascha, yatna means trying hard for anything. You have to work hard, try hard to see God in everything. Yatantascha means, in the commentary, Shankara says, how to strive hard. Yatna means striving, trying hard to see God. How to strive God, strive to know God. This is how we have to strive to know God. The commentary, Shankara says, first, Indriya Upasamhara. Indriya means sense organs, 10 sense organs, mind also, 11th one. Upasamhara means controlling them. They all have a tendency to go in different directions. That we know, we are familiar from our own experience. Controlling all of them and making them dwell on the divine presence in all. Whatever we are doing at the present, whole mind, everything should be focused. Attention should be focused on the work we are doing, not allowing the mind to roam here and there. That is one quality. Indriya Upasamhara. Shamadama, Daya, three qualities came before. Shama means controlling the mind. Dama means controlling sense organs. All this is explanation for the word yatantaha, how to strive hard to know God. Shamadama, Daya, compassion. Ahimsa, practicing non-violence, even towards inanimate objects. Non-violence not only in a physical sense, by speech and by thought. By saying something harsh, one harsh word, we can cause a lot of pain to other people. We should not do that one. We should make sure that our words are soothing, comforting, and pleasant, whatever I say. If I say unpleasant things, people will be offended. We should never do unpleasant things, nor say unpleasant things. So, soothing. Ahimsa, practicing non-violence in speech, in action, and in thought also. Ahimsa, adi lakshanaihi dharmai, prayantasta, striving in this way. Dhrida vrataha. Vrata means taking a vow. I will do this at this time, like this, making a vow. Dhrida vrataha means, Dhrida means firm. When they make a decision that I will do this one, we have to do it that way. Sri Ramakrishna was always very particular. If he said that he will do something, he had to do that thing. So he said to devotees, if you break your word, don't follow your word, say something and don't do it, then that is also amounting to untruthfulness. So we should always keep our word. When we say something, people should have confidence that we are going to pursue it and follow it and will not fail to do that one. That is Dhrida Vrataha, firm vows. Namasyantascha mam bhaktya. Bhaktya means with devotion. Mam namasyantaha. Bowing down to me, namaskar. Bowing down to God in all and everything. Namasyantascha mam bhaktya, with devotion, going down to God. Nitya yukta upasate. Upasate means they worship. Devotees worship God. Nitya yukta, eternally united, not intermittently, not whenever convenient, when we remember, but always. Nitya means always, eternally. Yukta, engaged in worship of God at all times. We have seen how to do that one. Every action we do is worship of God. That way we are always worshipping God, including sleep. Shankaracharya says, even sleep is a kind of worship. Nidra, samadhi, sthitihi. Nitya yukta upasate. So verse number 14 describes devotees incessantly glorifying me, satatam kirtayantaha, striving with steadfast vows, dhrida vrataha. Namasyantasta, prostrating, doing pranam, namaskar to God, eternally united, nitya yuktaha, they worship me with devotion, bhaktya, Mam upasate. With devotion, we have to worship God through all activities. These are all the qualities of devotees, and we have to practice all of these qualities. Then verse number 15, same continuation of how different people worship God in different ways. Verse number 15. Jnana yajnena chapyanye yajanto mamupasate ekatvena prutatvena bahudha vishvato mukham. In various ways, people worship God. Everybody need not worship God in the same way. We can find our own way to worship God. We can all be unique. There are infinite ways to worship God. God is infinite. We find the way in which we can worship God that suits us, our personality, our taste, our ability, our temperament. If somebody is worshipping in one way, we don't have to exactly copy that person. We can find our own ways to worship God. So much room for creativity is there in worshipping God. So some examples are given how different people worship God. In verse number 15. Jnana yajnena cha api anye. The second word, cha api anye. 3 words are there, cha api anye. So the sandhi combination has to be separated, broken. Jnana yajnena cha api anye. Anye means other people, some people. Some people worship by jnana yajna. Jnana yajna means by practicing the path of knowledge, one meaning, or performing or studying scriptures as a yajna, as an offering. That is jnana yajna. Jnana yajna chapyanye yajantaha mam upasate. Mam upasate. Some people worship me by performing jnana yajna. Sacrifice of knowledge. Sometimes you see in some organizations or even some people, they do Gita Yajna. 1 week long Gita Yajna. That means every day they chant Gita for several hours. Or they will make a promise that they will chant the Gita every day, whole Gita every day for 1 week. I know some people who chant the whole Gita every day, all their lives, not for 1 week. Every day they are chanting Gita. All the 18 chapters, they know it by heart. There's an organization called Gita Mandal. That organization is headquarters is in India. There are branches here in this country. And I happen to know some members of the Gita Mandal in the Chicago area. They used to come to our Gita study class. All of them chant the whole Gita at least once every day. They know it by heart. Every day they chant all the 18 chapters, 700 shlokas. That kind of yajna is jnana yajna, Gita yajna, like that one. We cannot do all of that. Everybody is not for everybody. Whoever can do it, they will do it. And that's one way. Jnana yajnena chapyanye yajanto mamupasate. They worship me by jnana yajna. How do they worship? Ekatvena pruthatvena bahudha vishvato mukham. Ekatva means seeing everything as God. Eka means one. Only one reality is there, though we are saying many, it's all one only, appearing as many. Upanishad says, Brahman is only one. Ekameva advitiyam. Chandogya Upanishad says, famous statement in the Chandogya Upanishad. Ekameva, one only. Advitiyam, no second. Dvitiya means second. Advitiya means there is no second entity, only God is there. But you are seeing so many different things. You are not seeing God. That is our misperception, Rajnana. That can be removed. We can see God only in all and everything. Sri Ramakrishna again and again said in the Gospel that the Divine Mother herself has become the whole universe. Appearances, all these things, people, animals, plants, nature, good, bad, everything is she alone, appearing in this way. It's appearance. But the truth is only one God is there. Ekatva. Seeing one reality only. Some people worship God. They don't see multiplicity. They see one. Everything is one as God. Ekatvena. Pruthatvena. Pruthak means separate, separate, different. Pruthatvena means Aditya Chandra Adivedana Sayeva Bhagavan Vishnu Avastita. Whatever is there in this world that we are seeing, we see sun in the sky, we see moon in the sky, stars in the sky, we see oceans and mountains on the earth, rivers flowing, people living, animals living, plants living, trees living, all these so many different things are there. They see all of this as only reality, one reality. Appearances are many, forms are many, reality is one. Bakuta, Ekatvena, Prutatvena. Though they are Prutak means they're all separate. From our perspective, we see separate different things, but they're all only one. That perspective they will develop, seeing the one in the many. Ekatvena, Prutatvena, Bahudha, in manifold ways, in different ways. Everybody worships God in a different way, thinks of God in a different way. Bahuda, that's the beauty of Vedanta. There is no dogma here. This is the only way you have to think of God, is the only way you have to worship God, that way. Don't say. If other people say that is, we don't want to worry about it, their problem. But Vedanta gives full freedom to each individual to choose his or her own way to worship God. God can be worshipped in an infinite number of ways. If you go to some villages, there's a small hut there, small village, a few families live there. There's no school, no education, nothing. They create a small hut and they put some stone there and they call it Hanuman temple. They see presence of Hanuman in the stone. Some people see Shiva in the Saligrama. That is how Shiva or Vishnu they see in any form in which they like to see. That freedom is there. Whatever we think, that is our reality. What we visualize, that becomes our reality. So that freedom to think of God, worship God in any way, is the beauty, hallmark, and strength of Vedanta, Sanatana Dharma. Ekatvena, Pratatvena, Bahuda, in many ways. Vishwato Mukham. Vishwato Mukha means his faces are in every direction. In the 13th chapter, there is one verse, verse number 13, easy to remember. We'll study that when we get there, but it's so nice and important, appropriate here that I'm going to mention it. Verse 13, chapter 13. There Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Sarvatah panipadam tat sarvato kshishiro mukham sarvata shrutimal loke sarvam avritya tishtati. Very beautiful verse. Something to practice, meditate upon. Sarvataha pani. Pani means hand. All hands are God's hands. All hands are God's hands. He works through all the hands. He's present in all the bodies. Sarvataha pani padam. All feet are God's feet. Animals' feet, elephants' feet, and dogs' feet, and deer feet, and people, men, women's feet, they're all God's feet. He works through all the feet. He's present in all the bodies. Sarvatah pani padam. Sarvatah akshi. All eyes are God's eyes. Whoever is looking at you, God is looking at you through those pairs of eyes. You can never be alone. God is watching you. Even if nobody is there, if the wall is there, He's watching there through that. So always under watch. So we have to always remember God is watching me. I'm never alone. So to be on good behavior, He's watching me all the time. Sarvatah Panipadam Sarvatokshi Shirah. All heads are God's heads. Akshishiro Mukham. All faces are God's head. Whosoever's face you see, if you see face of a cow or an elephant, face of a dog, or face of a beautiful person, God's face. God is there behind that face. If you remember this one shloka, that helps us to see God's presence all the time and everything. Whoever comes into your place, your home or your room, or wherever, co-worker in the office, whoever comes, Lord himself comes in that form. He may be a wicked person. He plays all the roles. He plays the role of a wicked person. He plays the role of a virtuous person. It's all he playing all this whole universal cosmic drama. He plays all these parts. He plays the part of a villain. He plays the part of a hero. He plays the part of a robber. He plays the part of a policeman. He plays the part of a judge. It's all he playing all these infinite number of parts, roles. It's all he alone. We see him in everything. Sarvatah Panipadam Tat Sarvatokshishiromukam. 13. Sarvatah Shrutimat. All ears are his ears. Whatever you say, he is hearing through so many pairs of ears. So we should say only what is right and what is true and what is pleasant. Because he is hearing through all the pairs of ears. Even if a dog is sitting there, no person is there, whatever you say, you're going to hear it through the ears of the dog. He's present in everything. That is the whole idea, to practice the presence of God. These are all different ways and examples, instructions to do that one thing. See God in everything. He alone is there in everything. Who else is there but he? That's the ultimate truth. Sarvata Shutimal Loke Sarvam Avritya Tishtati. Pervading everything, he alone remains. So that is how to practice the presence of God in all and everything at all times. In all actions also. It will come later. Next verse it will come. In every action he is present. Ekatvena Pratatvena. Verse number 15. Bahuda Vishwatomakam. So others worshipping me with a sacrifice of knowledge, Jnana Yajna, wait on me, worship me, looking up to me as one with themselves or as different. Ekatvena Pratatvena, as one or as different. In manifold ways, Bahuda, in many different ways, people worship God, that worship me. With face turned everywhere, Vishwatomaka, God's face in every direction. Every face is God's face. Now comes the divine presence in all the actions. So far you have seen God's presence in all the things, people, animals, plant. Now in every action he is present. How he is present in every action? That you already know from chapter 4, verse 24. Remember, most important verse, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi, you can't forget that one. So in eating, he is present as the food, as the eater, as the process of eating. That is explained here in verse number 16. How his presence can be seen in all actions, in all kinds of worship. Aham kraturaham yajnaha swadhaham aushadam mantroham ahamevajyam ahamadniraham hutam. Aham Kratuhu. Kratu means a Vedic performance, Vedic sacrifice. There are different kinds of rituals. Vedic rituals are called Kratu. Certain type of Vedic rituals. Aham Kratuhu is also called Shrauta Karma. Shrauta Karma. Shruti means Vedas. Shrauta Karma means the ritual described in the Vedas. Vedas contain description of rituals. In the Brahmana portion, those rituals described in the Vedas, those are called Kratu. Aham Kratuhu, he is present in Vedic rituals. Aham Yajnaha. Yajna means sacrifices described in the other scriptures. Smarta Karma, Smriti scripture. There are so many Smritis. Yajnavalkya Smriti, Parasara Smriti, Manusmriti is familiar to you. Like that, Manusmriti, there are many different smritis composed by different rishis at different times. They all describe rituals and codes of conduct. So those are called yajna, smarta karma. Aham kratu aham yajnaha. Swadha aham. Swadha means the offering that we make to departed ancestors. On certain days, every month during Amavasya, new moon night, we are supposed to offer, make offering to the departed ancestors. Argya Pradhanam. Many people do it, many people don't do it. Some are not even aware of it. Every Amavasya day we have to do. And in during the year, when Ganesh Chaturthi comes, after that, one fortnight, 15 days period in that month, that is called Pitru Paksha. Pitru means departed ancestors. Paksha means 15 days, half a month. During that half a month, every day people have to make offerings to the departed ancestors. It's all our dharma. We have to do that one. Much of it is forgotten. Some people still do it, and some people still do it. That is Swadha, offering to departed souls. Swadha aham, I am that. I am that offering. Aham aushadham. Aushadham means those kinds of food, herbal medicines which cure diseases, medicinal plants. So aham aushadham is present in all of them, as all of them. Mantra aham. We chant various mantras during all the ceremonies, rituals. 3 times a day people do Sandhya. The Sandhya mantras have to be chanted. Puja mantras are different. So all those mantra aham, I am all the mantras. God is present as the mantra, all the rituals. So mantra has to be chanted properly with devotion. Ahameva ajyam. Ajyam means ghee. Ghee is offered in the Havan. When people do Homa or Havan, or so much people do Havan every day, chanting Gayatri mantra, pouring ghee into the fire. Aham ajyaha. Ajya aham. Ahameva ajyam. I am that ghee that is poured into the fire during sacrifice, fire sacrifice. Aham agnihi. I am the fire into which offerings are made in Homa. Aham hutam. Hutam means what is offered into the fire. Other than ghee, we offer dry sticks, samit, dipped in ghee, homa samagri we offer. Other things we offer. All of those offerings are also ghee. In every action, he is present as the subject, person performing the action, is present as the action. The action, puja, worship itself is his presence. He is present as the objects which are offered during the worship. In everything, he alone appears as all of these things. That's the summary. In conclusion, we have to understand that whatever action we do is present in all the actions as the action itself. As the doer, as the object, as the action. Karta, karma, karana. Karana is present. He is there, appearing in all these diverse, infinite, different number of ways. So this all help us to practice, to see the presence of God in all actions, in all the beings at all times, including ourselves. Then that same topic continues. He is the creator of the whole universe. He is a sustainer. He is the destination into which everything goes. That has come before. Verse number 17. Pitahamasya jagata mata data pitamaha. Excuse me. Pitahamasya jagata mata data pitamaha Vedyam Pavitram Omkara Vriksama Yajurevacha. Summary is he is everything. These are all different instances where we can see him, his presence. Asya Jagataha Aham Pita. You read in the words, the first line. Pita Aham Asya Jagataha. Asya Jagata of this world. Aham Pita. I am the father. Father means the one who gives rise to everything, source, from whom everything, whole universe comes from. He is the father. Pitahamasya Jagataha. Mata. I am the mother of the whole world. Mother is a nourishing person. Nourishing, helping people to grow, and showering her love and compassion and service. God is that mother. God is the father. God is the mother of everybody, of everything, of the whole universe. Dhata. Dhata means sustainer, one who sustains, upholds the whole world, makes everything possible. Without God's power, no action can happen. We can't even blink our eyes once without His power, making it possible for us to blink. It's all His power functioning through our bodies, through all the bodies. When the sun shines, bringing us warmth and light and energy, who is doing that? Who is the source of that sun's power? The Lord Himself. It's the Lord Himself who, in the form of the sun, provides us warmth and heat, necessary, essential for life. Tata Mata, Dhata, sustainer, Pita Maha, grandfather. Vedyam. Veda means knowledge. Vedyam means something that has to be known, object of knowledge. What is one thing that we have to know? So many things we have to know. All the branches of knowledge we study for our livelihood, those things we have to know. But one thing that we definitely have to know, whether we know anything else or not, is God. Vedya means something, object of knowledge. We have to know God. He is the one to be known. If you don't know God and know everything else, then we don't know anything. Vedya means object of knowledge. Our one thing that we all have to know in this life as human beings is God. Then other things as much as possible. Vedyam Pavitram. Pavitra means a pure or purifying agent. God's name is the best purifying agent. Ordinarily, we use soap, detergent, and all these things to purify things, water, etc. But the best purifying agent is God's name itself. If you simply repeat God's name, you will become pure, inwardly, outwardly. There's one verse we chant at the beginning of all the worship. Apavitra pavitro va sarvavasthangato piva yasmaret pundari kaksham sabahya bhyantara shuchihi. Apavitra means I may be impure physically. Pavitrova, I may be pure physically, mentally. Sarva avasthangato piva, I may have gone through many different conditions. I may have gone to some impure place. Sarvavasthangato piva. Yaha pundarikaksham smaret, one who remembers God, lotus-eyed God. Pundarika means lotus. Aksha means eyes. God has lotus eyes. One who remembers the lotus-eyed God, the Lord, Saha Shuchihi, he becomes pure. He or she becomes pure. How? Bahya Abhyantara, both externally and internally. Simply chanting God's name purifies our body and the mind. That is Pavitra, the ultimate purifier. Vedyam Pavitram Omkara is the Omkara. Om represents all aspects of divinity. God with form, without form, with qualities, without qualities, Sakar, Nirakar, Sagun, Nirgun, everything. All aspects of divinity, Divine Mother, Shiva, Ishvara, Krishna, all are represented by one symbol Om. Omkara. I am that Om. Rik, Sama, Yajurevacha. 3 Vedas are there. 4 Vedas, including Atharva Veda. But generally, first 3 are mentioned most frequently. Because Atharva Veda came a little bit later, and it has other subjects like mathematics and chemistry and all those astronomy and everything are there. So Rig, Sama, Yajur, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, they count them as 3. All the 3 Vedas also I am is all knowledge contained in the Vedas. Is all knowledge. He is the father, he is the mother, the nourisher, he is the sustainer, and he is the one object to be known. Only thing to be known in life is God. Without knowing God, if you know other things, it doesn't matter much. Vedyam Pavitram, purifier, pure, Omkara, on all the 3 Vedas. It's all he. He appears in all these forms. So when you see a book on chemistry or history, we should not simply say it's just a book. Not like that. He's present in it. There's nothing in which he is not present. To cultivate that view that I am seeing God no matter what I am seeing, He is there in everything that I am seeing. That is the main purpose of these verses. You have to cultivate that vision, practice the presence of God. Now we'll do verse number 18. Same topic continues. He is everything, all in all, to the whole world. God is everything, and everything is God. That is being described in these verses. Verse number 18. Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Suhit Prabhava Pralayasthanam Nidhanam Bijamavyayam. The Lord is describing how He is everything, all in all. Sarvasva is all in all, everything for. He is the father, He is the mother, He is the sustainer, He is the lover, He is the master, He is everything. Gatihi. Gati means the ultimate destination, goal, where we are bound. What is the goal of life? God. We have so many other goals, short-term goals. We have deadlines. I have to finish the report by Friday morning, or to present it Friday. That's one goal, short-term for this week. Like that, we have small goals. And you have to pay the monthly payment, mortgage for the house, for the car. Deadlines are there. Those are all goals. But those are short-term goals. They have to be fulfilled. They also have to be fulfilled. It should not fail. But what is the ultimate goal of life? Why are we here as human beings? To know God. God is the goal, Gati. He is the ultimate destination, ultimate goal of life. That we should never forget. These other things that we have to do, we have to take care of them. Daily business. Gatir Bharta. Bharta means one who nourishes, supports and nourishes. All the nourishment comes from God. Where is any other source of nourishment? All the energy, all the power, everything with which we can do things is all His power. It is source. Katir Bharta, nourisher, Prabhu is the Lord. God is the Prabhu, O Lord. Like this we should address. He is the Lord of the whole universe. Sakshi. Sakshi means witness. He is present in every one of us as the Antaratma, as the innermost self is watching. The Sakshi is watching. At no time we are alone. Every time, 24 hours, He is watching us as the Sakshi, innermost self present in us. Sakshi, Nivasaha. Nivasa means abode, where everything stays. Not is the ultimate abode. Parandhama. Some people keep the name Parandhaman. Parandhama means supreme abode. God is supreme abode. Where else can we go? We have to stay with Him. In Him. Nivasa means abode. Sharanam. Sharanam means one in whom you have to take refuge. Sharanagati. You should take refuge in God. If you take refuge in other things, they are not dependable. If you collect lot of money and think you are secure, because money is there, you are secure, nothing can happen to you, that will not work. In a moment, everything can change. But if you take refuge in God, He will never let you down. He is our ultimate refuge. Sharanam means ultimate refuge. Nivasam, Nivasaha Sharanam Suhurat. Surat means a very close friend. The word Surat came in the 6th chapter. You may remember, chapter 6, verse number 9. Suhrat, the sloka begins with the word Suhrat, 6-9. Surat Mitra Vidas Yena Madhyastadveshya Bandhushu. Surat means a close friend. A close friend is one who helps you without expecting you to return that favor. It says, Pratyupakaram Anapekshaha San Upakari. Ordinary friends help you, but they expect you to help them in return. But Suhrat is a very unselfish friend who he gives you help whenever you need any kind of help. If he can, he will help you, but you will not expect anything in return from you for that help. Such a person is a Suhrat, close friend, dependable friend. God is that one. Human friends are of different kinds. Some are Suhrat, some are not Suhrat. Some do something expecting something from us in return. That's okay too, human beings. But God is not like that. He's our Surat means He always is there with us, helping us. What can we return to God in return for the help? Everything we have received from God, our life, everything we have, our abilities, knowledge, everything has come to us from Him. What can we give to Him in return? Nothing. For example, sun, all the energy on this earth comes from the sun. He gives so much energy. Without the sunlight, life cannot sustain on this planet. Animals, people cannot live. Rivers cannot flow. But in return, what can we give to sun? Nothing. What can we give to sun? It's 93 million miles away, so hot, producing so much heat and energy. There's nothing we can give. Still, we have to express our gratitude to God, to sun, symbolically, not physically. So every morning, after taking bath, we have to offer a prayer to sun god. Surya Argya Pradhanam. When we do worship, tomorrow we are going to do special worship. You will notice that you do Surya Argya Pradhanam. Argya means water offering. We take a spoonful of water, chant a mantra or a prayer, offer it to sun. Sun is 93 million miles. How can this spoonful of water reach him? Not physically, but our expression of gratitude. Oh Lord, you make everything possible in our life. Without you, we cannot live. What can I do in return? This symbolically, I'm offering this spoonful of water. Please accept this. That prayer, that expression of gratitude is very important. So, Sharanam, Suhrit, Prabhavaha. Prabhava means the origin of everything. Pralayaha, God is the origin of everything. That we have seen before. Pralayaha means everything goes by. Pralaya means dissolution, everything going out of existence. Where can it go out of existence? They all merge in God. Everything, whole creation comes from God, is sustained by Him, and goes back to Him. That we have seen many times before. Brahman is that from whom the whole creation comes into existence, by whom the whole creation is sustained, and into whom everything goes back and merges at the end of their existence. That is Brahman. The God is that. Prabhava Pralaya Sthanam. Sthanam means same as abode. We all stay in God. Where else can we stay? Every place we stay is God's place. Sthanam is the ultimate abode. Nidhanam. Nidhanam means the source of all wealth, all energy, all wealth. Nidhanam is translated here as treasury. Treasury means where money is, all the money is kept. He is the source of all wealth, everything. Nidhanam Avyayam Bijam. We are doing verse number 18. Avyayam Bijam. Bija means seed. Seed means from which everything comes. God is the seed of the whole universe. Every whole universe was hidden in him in avyakta, unmanifest form before creation. Then they all come into existence into manifest form during creation. And afterwards, at the time of dissolution, whole world universe goes back and merges into him. That is the avyayam bijam. That bija, that seed, is imperishable, continuously going on. You can see in the plant kingdom how if you put one seed, it will grow into a plant and it will produce many, many more seeds. And each of those seeds will go into one plant. And each of those plants produce many, many more. So it goes on like this. It never ends. Avyayam bijam. God is like that. The imperishable source of the whole universe. Everything comes from him. Avyayam bijam. That means, to summarize all these verses number from this verse number 16, 17, and 18, in one sentence, it can be summarized in this way. God is everything and everything is God. That's all we have to remember. God is everything. Father, mother, sustainer, nourisher, everything. Good destination, everything. God is everything and everything is God. Only he exists. That vision we have to cultivate. Just to enable us to cultivate that vision, all these stanzas are given. So I think we should stop now. 18 we finished. 19 is interesting, but it will take some time. We will stop here and give some time for questions and comments. Oh, here, question.
I was looking for 1313 everywhere. It is coming up everywhere is 1314.
Yeah, in 13th chapter, there is a difference of one number in some books. Yeah, that's the only place where sloka numbers differ in the whole of Gita. 13th chapter. Anything else that I forgot to mention or you want to mention?
That line which has Vishwato
facing in all directions.
Facing all directions? Could you explain that again?
Vishwata, Vishwa means whole universe. Mukham means face. He is.
Swamiji, in the last 9:17, what happened? What was I going to ask? You summarized 16, 17, 18 by saying he is everything and everything is God, right?
That's my way of summarizing.
Yeah, but like Sudhaji, I have also written the whole book in verses which have rhymed like poetry form. And the subheading I gave to these 4 verses 16 to 19 was, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that he has infinite manifestations and glories.
Yeah.
Do they, and if to this I add, he is everything and everything is God, is that okay?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Infinite manifestations means all are his manifestations. There's no limit. Whatever you see is all he.
Okay. So I can say both the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You can say in many different ways.
Okay.
Only one thing is there, and that is he.
But your word is the word for the best word
Whatever
for us.
Convenient
but since
you.
I wrote like that, I wanted to understand.
You can make up your own sentence.
Yeah, I know, but I have to be, equal to your sense of it.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Urmila ji. Urmila ji.
Okay. Thank you. No.
Bettima Abraham, nice to see you. In small pictures on the Zoom
Yes,
screen.
Namaskaram,
You have to come
Swamiji.
here physically.
Namaskaram, Swamiji. We get to see you once a week on this Zoom.
Come here sometime.
We'll try to.
Prafulla Ben, namaskar.
Namaskaram,
Dharanjit.
Swamiji.
Sundarvalli is there.
I'm working
Narayani
today,
is
so I
done
could not.
very well.
Oh, thank you, Swami. Which one? You heard my recording?
Narayanam, small segments are there in YouTube. Your
Oh,
channel.
yeah. Yesterday I posted on Ramayanam, the last chapter. It had a beautiful meaning. The last word, it
No.
says Rama Avatar was to teach us that you should not get attached to somebody, and then too much of following dharma, like abandoning Lakshmana for no fault, is also not good. So Rama, played that Leela to teach that to humanity. Andamari Narayana Vattatri has written. So that's what I posted in Facebook yesterday. I thought that's what you're referring to.
Very good. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But
Today I'm
Narayanam
actually volunteering,
posted my
Swamiji,
thought.
so I couldn't pay attention.
Very good.
Thank you, Swamiji.
All right. Shall we say the closing prayer? Om Sarve Bhavanta Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may all be happy. May all be free from all kinds of suffering. May all love each other, have no ill will towards each other. May there be harmony. May no one be subject to any kind of misery. Om, peace. May there be peace in our hearts, Adhyatmika Shanti. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings, Adi Bhautika Shanti. And may there be peace everywhere in nature, Adi Daivika Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. All of you stay well, and God willing, we shall see you next week. Very nice.